heartfelt.
So where's home for the Persepolis Football Club and its coach? You gotta score fast because the ref's about to blow the whistle for the answer. Didn't have to wait long, did you? The soccer team Persepolis is a hometown favorite in Tehran. The Iranian capital is the answer to our quiz. The team nicknamed the Red Army is one of the top teams in Iran, and the coach of Persepolis is an Iranian-American named Afshin Qutbi. BBC reporter John Line recently saw him and the team in action at Tehran's Azadi Stadium. John, how did Persepolis look on the field, and how much of that is a credit to the coach?
Well, the game I saw was the local derby with the other Tehran team, Istiklal, and they only managed a 1-1 draw, but intense pressure. The stadium, it's a massive stadium, and there were 100,000 people there watching the game, and the stadium was already packed full at least 3 hours before the game. The sound, in fact, 3 hours before the game was absolutely deafening. But overall, Afshin Qutbi has done fantastically. He's brought Persepolis to the top of the Iranian Soccer League, and I can tell you, this is a soccer-mad nation, as Afshin Qutbi had told me when I spoke to him before the game.
What I've witnessed is the passion of football here is greater than anywhere I've been so far.
So, John, that raises the question, how big is soccer in Iran?
As Afshin Qutbi points out, maybe because there isn't much else to do here. There's not much to go to in the way of cinemas. There's not much to go to in the way of, obviously, there's not much nightlife here because of the Islamic restrictions. And they are absolutely crazy for it. You will find regularly 100,000 people at games. As a country, they're very good at soccer. They've made it to the World Cup finals, and of course in 1998, famously, they met the United States, and on that occasion Afshin Qutbi was actually on the American coaching team, and on that occasion Iran got the better of the match, of course.
And that's not only Afshin Qutbi's kind of credentials here in the United States, he also coached the Los Angeles Galaxy. It sounds like if there are any hard feelings among the Iranian public about U.S.-Iranian relations, soccer seems to erase all that.
It's very interesting, isn't it, how the reaction to him. He has a very strong American accent, as you can hear. He was happier speaking in English than he was in Farsi, the local language. But nevertheless, he has gone down very well here. And frankly, there is, amongst 99% of people here, very little animosity towards America at all. I think most people very much certainly like Americans. They obviously don't always agree with what the American government does, but they're very warm feelings towards the American people.
When you spoke with him, John, did he talk about what it's like to be in Tehran once again now, at a particularly kind of odd time in U.S.-Iranian relations?
Well, I can tell you one thing, enormous culture shock. For example, I went to a news conference he gave before the game, of which first of all we had a long Quranic recitation, and then we had the Iranian national anthem, which of course everybody stood for. And that's just before the news conference, let alone the game itself. He's very diplomatic about talking about it, not at all keen to be pressed to talk about the very delicate political situation here, although of course I asked him questions about it.
I've tried to stay away from that, and I only concentrate on football. So we can talk about the politics in football, but about the politics of governments, that's not my expertise, nor is my interest.
Could sport bring the two countries together, the United States and Iran?
I think football can bring all people together. I always believe that love and football are the two things that we share on this earth.
You said the noise 3 hours prior to the match was deafening. What was the noise like during the match when Persepolis starts to win?
The roar is incredible, even right from the start. Whenever the ball goes anywhere near the touchline, there's a sound of I don't know how many thousand whistles blowing. And also, we were advised to be well away from the ground before the game ended, not to get tangled up with the crowds. Now, we know that the world over, but I think there's quite a lot of very intense rivalries here. Certainly at the game itself, there were big cordons between the rival fans, there were police or riot police of some kinds on duty between the rivals, and there were occasional surges of the crowd to the other side. So it's quite a bear pit, it's quite a gladiatorial atmosphere, and it's very exciting to be down there in the midst of this cauldron.
Are women anywhere in attendance at this gladiator-like atmosphere?
Well, of course they're not. They're not allowed inside football games here. It is because the men play in shorts, as you might expect. Nevertheless, of course, the women can watch it on television. So it is perhaps a double standard. That is the rules here, and that's the way it works.